Have you ever felt misunderstood? Like no one around you truly sees the battles you're fighting? In today's story, we dive into the life of Katie, a bright and determined high school student navigating the unique challenges of autism. At Ridgewood Academy, her journey is anything but ordinary, filled with moments of isolation, misunderstanding, and a desperate longing for acceptance. How do you cope when it feels like the world just doesn't understand you? Join us as we explore Katie's struggle for connection and the heartwarming bond that forms when one person decides to see her for who she truly is. This is a story of resilience, friendship, and the power of empathy in overcoming life's most daunting obstacles. Welcome to Ridgewood Academy, nestled among the rolling hills of suburban America, where academic excellence meets unconventional thinking. At its heart, this private high school prides itself on nurturing individuality and fostering creativity, far removed from the rigid confines of traditional education. Amidst its ivy-covered buildings and sprawling campus, we meet Emily, a bright yet introverted student navigating the complexities of high school life. With her keen intellect and a passion for understanding the world through scientific inquiry, Emily stands out not just for her academic prowess but also for her unique way of seeing things, a perspective shaped by her experiences as a young woman diagnosed with autism. Ridgewood Academy isn't just a school. It's a microcosm where personalities clash, friendships form, and challenges abound. Here, rules are guidelines rather than strict mandates, allowing students like Emily to explore their potential beyond conventional boundaries. It's within this dynamic environment that our story unfolds, a tale of resilience, determination, and the pursuit of excellence against all odds. As we delve deeper into Emily's journey through Ridgewood Academy, we'll witness her confrontations, triumphs, and the transformative power of her unwavering commitment to her beliefs. Join us as we explore how one student's journey through high school becomes a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the pursuit of truth in a world often defined by its challenges. Amidst the bustling halls of Ridgewood Academy, Emily stands out, a young woman whose intellect shines brightly despite her struggle with social interactions. Diagnosed with autism during high school, Emily navigates a world where her unique perspective often sets her apart from her peers. Emily's journey at Ridgewood Academy is not just about academic excellence. It's a personal odyssey of self-discovery and acceptance. From a young age, Emily displayed an insatiable curiosity about the natural world and a knack for understanding complex scientific concepts. However, her social interactions were marked by challenges, misunderstandings, occasional outbursts, and a difficulty in grasping social cues that often left her feeling isolated. Despite these hurdles, Emily's teachers recognized her potential early on. They saw beyond her struggles and nurtured her intellectual curiosity, providing her with the support and encouragement needed to thrive. In the quiet corners of the school library or the buzzing atmosphere of science labs, Emily found solace and purpose in her studies, diving deep into subjects that fascinated her. At Ridgewood Academy, Emily's journey is not just about overcoming academic challenges, but also about navigating the complexities of friendships and social dynamics. Her journey is a testament to resilience, as she learns to embrace her strengths while grappling with the realities of being different in a world that often values conformity. As we follow Emily's footsteps through Ridgewood Academy, we witness her highs and lows, her moments of triumph and setbacks. Through it all, Emily's story unfolds as a poignant reminder of the power of perseverance and the beauty of embracing one's true self, flaws and all. In the bustling corridors of Ridgewood Academy, amidst clusters of students chatting and rushing to classes, Emily's path often intersects with Katie, a charismatic but sharp-tongued figure who holds sway over a clique of followers. Katie, with her confident demeanor and polished exterior, seems to navigate the social landscape effortlessly, leaving an impression wherever she goes. From the outset, it's clear that Katie and Emily occupy vastly different spheres within the school's social hierarchy. While Emily quietly focuses on her studies and interests, Katie thrives on attention and influence, often at the expense of others. Her presence is marked by a subtle aura of authority, reinforced by her ability to sway opinions and command attention. For Emily, encounters with Katie are fraught with tension. Katie's casual dismissiveness towards Emily's social quirks and occasional missteps underscores the stark contrast between their personalities. Despite Emily's efforts to remain unnoticed and avoid confrontation, Katie seems intent on asserting her dominance, whether through subtle jabs or more overt displays of influence. The dynamics between Katie and Emily reach a pivotal moment when Mrs. Green, the science teacher, announces the annual science fair project. In a move that surprises no one, Katie unilaterally declares herself and Emily as partners, a decision made without Emily's input or consent. This abrupt declaration sets the stage for a clash of wills. Emily, accustomed to navigating social complexities with caution, finds herself at odds with Katie's forceful demeanor. Katie's insistence on partnership stems not from genuine interest in collaboration, but rather from a strategic calculation. Recognizing Emily's academic prowess as a valuable asset for the project, as tensions simmer beneath the surface, Emily must decide how to respond. Does she acquiesce to Katie's unilateral decision, hoping to avoid conflict and possibly gain acceptance within Katie's circle? Or does she assert her independence, risking Katie's wrath but reclaiming autonomy over her academic pursuits? As the news of Katie's unilateral decision to partner with Emily spreads through the halls of Ridgewood Academy, Emily finds herself thrust into an unexpected dilemma. Katie, with her effortless charm and assertive nature, seems unfazed by Emily's reservations, viewing their partnership as a strategic move rather than a mutual collaboration. For Emily, this sudden alliance with Katie brings forth a mix of emotions: confusion, apprehension, and a tinge of resentment. She had hoped to approach the science fair project on her own terms, leveraging her keen intellect and passion for scientific inquiry without the encumbrance of navigating Katie's social dynamics. Yet, as Emily reflects on the situation, she grapples with the reality of her social isolation at Ridgewood Academy. Katie's popularity and influence loom large, casting a shadow over Emily's desire for autonomy and academic independence. The pressure to conform, to fit into Katie's vision of partnership, weighs heavily on Emily's mind. In the quiet solitude of her favorite corner in the school library, Emily deliberates her next move. Should she confront Katie and assert her desire to work independently, risking potential backlash and social ostracization? Or does she acquiesce, hoping that cooperation with Katie might lead to acceptance and recognition within the school's social hierarchy? As Emily navigates these internal conflicts, she realizes that this partnership isn't just about completing a science project. It's a test of her resilience and determination to forge her own path amidst the complexities of high school life. Her decision will shape not only her academic journey, but also her sense of identity and self-worth at Ridgewood Academy. In the days following Katie's unilateral declaration of partnership, tensions between Emily and Katie simmer beneath the surface at Ridgewood Academy. Emily, with her quiet determination and steadfast focus on academic excellence, finds herself navigating uncharted waters as she attempts to navigate the complexities of her forced collaboration with Katie. For Emily, each interaction with Katie becomes a delicate balancing act, a tightrope walk between asserting her autonomy and avoiding confrontation. Katie, emboldened by her social stature and accustomed to getting her way, exerts subtle pressure on Emily to conform to her vision for the science fair project. In the bustling corridors and communal spaces of Ridgewood Academy, Emily senses the watchful eyes of their peers, curious and expectant of how this unlikely partnership will unfold. The school's social fabric seems to shift subtly as rumors swirl and alliances form, influenced by the power dynamics playing out between Katie and Emily. Behind closed doors, during their sporadic meetings to discuss the project, Emily observes Katie's approach with a mix of fascination and caution. Katie, with her persuasive charm and calculated maneuvers, attempts to steer the project in directions that align with her ambitions, often overlooking Emily's insights and suggestions. Despite the challenges posed by their divergent personalities and conflicting agendas, Emily remains steadfast in her commitment to the integrity of their scientific endeavor. She spends late nights in the school's science lab, meticulously conducting experiments and refining their project, driven by a desire to prove her capabilities independent of Katie's influence. As the days turn into weeks, Emily's internal conflict intensifies. Should she continue to navigate the turbulent waters of partnership with Katie, hoping to find common ground and mutual respect? Or does she take a stand, risking potential fallout but reclaiming control over her academic pursuits and personal boundaries? Weeks passed, and the tension between Emily and Katie at Ridgewood Academy grew palpable. Their once uneasy partnership had evolved into a battleground of conflicting ambitions and personalities. In the quiet corner of the school's library, where Emily often retreated to gather her thoughts, she found herself immersed in the latest round of disagreements with Katie. Papers scattered before them, laptops glowing with unfinished drafts, they sat in tense silence. "I think we should focus on the behavioral aspects of learning," Emily suggested, her voice calm but firm as she pointed to the research she had compiled. "It's a unique angle that could really set us apart." Katie, leaning back with a hint of skepticism in her expression, crossed her arms. "I'm not sure. The judges might prefer something more flashy, like a hands-on experiment or a visually striking presentation." Emily frowned, feeling the weight of Katie's influence bearing down on her ideas. But our project should be about substance, not just surface appeal. We need to showcase our understanding of the subject matter. Katie chuckled softly, a dismissive undertone in her voice. Sure, but we also need to impress the judges and stand out from the competition. You know how these things work, Em? Emily bristled at the nickname Katie used so casually, a subtle reminder of their unequal footing in this partnership. It's Emily, she corrected sharply, her patience wearing thin. And I believe in presenting quality work, not just what's flashy. Katie's eyes narrowed slightly, a challenge gleaming in her gaze. Well, Emily, maybe you should consider being a bit more flexible. This project is as much about presentation as it is about content. Their exchange grew heated as Emily defended her stance, each argument punctuated by Katie's insistence on prioritizing appearance over substance. The library, usually a sanctuary of quiet study, now bore witness to their verbal sparring match, drawing curious glances from other students nearby. I'm not compromising on this, Emily finally declared, her voice steady despite the frustration simmering beneath the surface. If we're going to do this, it has to be done right. Katie sighed dramatically, shaking her head with a hint of condescension. Fine, Emily, have it your way. But don't expect everyone to be as impressed with your substance as you are. Their disagreement hung in the air, unresolved but temporarily set aside as they returned to their respective tasks with a tense atmosphere lingering between them. For Emily, the clash with Katie marked a pivotal moment, a test of her convictions and determination to uphold her principles amidst the pressures of peer influence and academic competition. Emily's resolve to uphold her principles amidst Katie's dominance at Ridgewood Academy was put to the ultimate test one fateful afternoon in the school's bustling cafeteria. Surrounded by their peers, Emily and Katie found themselves embroiled in a heated discussion that would redefine their strained partnership. Katie, with her usual air of confidence tinged with superiority, leaned forward across the cafeteria table. Look, Emily, I get that you want to do things your way, but we need to think about what's going to impress the judges. Your approach might be too safe. Emily, her patience wearing thin from weeks of navigating Katie's undermining tactics, met her gaze squarely. Safe doesn't mean ineffective, Katie. We have to present a project that's grounded in solid research and meaningful conclusions. The cafeteria buzzed around them, oblivious to the tension crackling between the two girls. Katie leaned back, a smug smile playing on her lips. And how exactly are we going to do that? With your dry data and boring charts? We need something that grabs attention. Emily felt her frustration rise, but she kept her voice steady. It's not just about grabbing attention, Katie. It's about presenting something of substance. Something that shows we understand the subject matter. Katie's eyes narrowed, a flash of irritation crossing her features. Well, Emily, sometimes you have to be willing to step outside your comfort zone. Take a risk. Isn't that what you're always telling me about? In the bustling corridors and communal spaces of Ridgewood Academy, Emily senses the watchful eyes of their peers, curious and expectant of how this unlikely partnership will unfold. The school's social fabric seems to shift subtly as rumors swirl and alliances form, influenced by the power dynamics playing out between Katie and Emily. Behind closed doors, during their sporadic meetings to discuss the project, Emily observes Katie's approach with a mix of fascination and caution. Katie, with her persuasive charm and calculated maneuvers, attempts to steer the project in directions that align with her ambitions, often overlooking Emily's insights and suggestions. Despite the challenges posed by their divergent personalities and conflicting agendas, Emily remains steadfast in her commitment to the integrity of their scientific endeavor. She spends late nights in the school's science lab, meticulously conducting experiments and refining their project, driven by a desire to prove her capabilities independent of Katie's influence. As the days turn into weeks, Emily's internal conflict intensifies. Should she continue to navigate the turbulent waters of partnership with Katie, hoping to find common ground and mutual respect? Or does she take a stand, risking potential fallout but reclaiming control over her academic pursuits and personal boundaries? Weeks passed, and the tension between Emily and Katie at Ridgewood Academy grew palpable. Their once uneasy partnership had evolved into a battleground of conflicting ambitions and personalities. In the quiet corner of the school's library, where Emily often retreated to gather her thoughts, she found herself immersed in the latest round of disagreements with Katie. Papers scattered before them, laptops glowing with unfinished drafts, they sat in tense silence. I think we should focus on the behavioral aspects of learning, Emily suggested, her voice calm but firm as she pointed to the research she had compiled. It's a unique angle that could really set us apart. Katie, leaning back with a hint of skepticism in her expression, crossed her arms. I'm not sure. The judges might prefer something more flashy, like a hands-on experiment or a visually striking presentation. Emily frowned, feeling the weight of Katie's influence bearing down on her ideas. But our project should be about substance, not just surface appeal. We need to showcase our understanding of the subject matter. Katie chuckled softly, a dismissive undertone in her voice. Sure, but we also need to impress the judges and stand out from the competition. You know how these things work, Em? Emily bristled at the nickname Katie used so casually, a subtle reminder of their unequal footing in this partnership. It's Emily, she corrected sharply, her patience wearing thin. And I believe in presenting quality work, not just what's flashy. Katie's eyes narrowed slightly, a challenge gleaming in her gaze. Well, Emily, maybe you should consider being a bit more flexible. This project is as much about presentation as it is about content. Their exchange grew heated as Emily defended her stance, each argument punctuated by Katie's insistence on prioritizing appearance over substance. The library, usually a sanctuary of quiet study, now bore witness to their verbal sparring match, drawing curious glances from other students nearby. I'm not compromising on this, Emily finally declared, her voice steady despite the frustration simmering beneath the surface. If we're going to do this, it has to be done right. Katie sighed dramatically, shaking her head with a hint of condescension. Fine, Emily, have it your way. But don't expect everyone to be as impressed with your substance as you are. Their disagreement hung in the air, unresolved but temporarily set aside as they returned to their respective tasks with a tense atmosphere lingering between them. For Emily, the clash with Katie marked a pivotal moment, a test of her convictions and determination to uphold her principles amidst the pressures of peer influence and academic competition. Emily's resolve to uphold her principles amidst Katie's dominance at Ridgewood Academy was put to the ultimate test one fateful afternoon in the school's bustling cafeteria. Surrounded by their peers, Emily and Katie found themselves embroiled in a heated discussion that would redefine their strained partnership. Katie, with her usual air of confidence tinged with superiority, leaned forward across the cafeteria table. Look, Emily, I get that you want to do things your way, but we need to think about what's going to impress the judges. Your approach might be too safe. Emily, her patience wearing thin from weeks of navigating Katie's undermining tactics, met her gaze squarely. Safe doesn't mean ineffective, Katie. We have to present a project that's grounded in solid research and meaningful conclusions. The cafeteria buzzed around them, oblivious to the tension crackling between the two girls. Katie leaned back, a smug smile playing on her lips. And how exactly are we going to do that? With your dry data and boring charts? We need something that grabs attention. Emily felt her frustration rise, but she kept her voice steady. It's not just about grabbing attention, Katie. It's about presenting something of substance. Something that shows we understand the subject matter. Katie's eyes narrowed, a flash of irritation crossing her features. Well, Emily, sometimes you have to be willing to step outside your comfort zone. Take a risk. Isn't that what you're always telling me about? Emily bit back a retort, her mind racing with the weight of Katie's words. Perhaps Katie had a point. Maybe she needed to find a balance between her steadfast dedication to academic rigor and the need to make an impact. Before Emily could respond, Katie pressed on, her tone taking on a patronizing edge. Look, we both want to do well in this project, right? So let's work together on this. Compromise a little. The challenge hung in the air between them, demanding a response. Emily hesitated, torn between her principles and the desire to salvage their partnership for the sake of their project's success. Fine, Emily finally conceded, her voice tinged with resignation. Let's brainstorm some ideas that blend both substance and presentation. We can find a middle ground. Katie's smile widened triumphantly, sensing Emily's reluctant agreement. Great. See, Emily, this is how we'll make a winning project. Their conversation shifted to a more collaborative tone as they began to discuss potential approaches that merged Emily's research-driven methods with Katie's flair for presentation. Despite the uneasy truce, Emily couldn't shake the feeling of compromise gnawing at her convictions. As the science fair deadline loomed closer, Emily and Katie found themselves at odds over the direction of their project. Tension simmered beneath the surface, threatening to boil over at any moment. In the corner of the school library, where they had retreated to finalize their presentation, Emily spread out her meticulously researched notes. I really think we should focus on the behavioral aspects of learning. It's what sets our project apart. Katie, pacing impatiently nearby, shook her head. Emily, we've been over this. The judges want to see something engaging, something that pops. We need a wow factor. Emily sighed, frustration creeping into her voice. But Katie, we can't sacrifice substance for showmanship. Our project needs to have depth. Katie rolled her eyes, a hint of exasperation in her tone. Depth won't matter if no one notices our project. We need to grab their attention from the start. Their disagreement echoed through the library, drawing curious glances from other students engrossed in their own projects. Emily struggled to maintain her composure, her belief in thorough research clashing with Katie's insistence on flashy presentation. "You're being stubborn, Emily," Katie insisted, folding her arms defiantly. "We need to compromise if we want to win." Emily hesitated, torn between her principles and the pressure to conform. "Fine," she relented reluctantly. "Let's brainstorm ideas that blend both depth and visual appeal." Katie's face lit up with satisfaction, sensing Emily's acquiescence. "Great. I knew you'd come around. We'll make this work." Their collaboration resumed, albeit with a strained undertone. Emily tried to inject her research findings into their presentation while Katie focused on designing eye-catching visuals and interactive elements. Each decision became a battleground of compromise, testing Emily's resilience and commitment to her academic values. As they worked late into the evening, Emily couldn't shake the feeling of unease gnawing at her. Had she compromised too much? Was she sacrificing the integrity of their project for the sake of appeasing Katie and the judges? The morning of the science fair arrived with a buzz of nervous energy permeating the air at Ridgewood Academy. Emily and Katie stood beside their project display, putting on their final touches before the judging began. It was a crucial moment, where their months of hard work would be put to the test. Emily adjusted the placement of their research posters, ensuring they were aligned perfectly. "I think we're ready, Katie. Everything looks good." Katie glanced around the bustling cafeteria turned exhibit hall, her expression a mix of nerves and determination. "Yeah, it's looking okay, but I'm still not sure about that opening statement. It needs more punch." Emily frowned slightly, her commitment to academic rigor conflicting with Katie's flair for theatrics. "Katie, we've discussed this. We need to start with a clear introduction to our research objectives." Katie sighed impatiently. "I know, Emily, but we also need to grab the judge's attention. We need to stand out." Their disagreement echoed through the exhibit hall, drawing curious glances from nearby participants. Emily took a deep breath, trying to find common ground without compromising their project's integrity. "Okay," Emily began tentatively. "How about we add a visual element to our introduction? Something that ties directly into our research findings." Katie brightened at the suggestion. "Yes, like a quick demonstration or a short video clip. That would definitely grab their attention." Emily nodded, relieved to find a compromise that satisfied both their needs. "Exactly. It'll highlight our key points while engaging the judges right from the start." As they finalized their presentation strategy, Emily couldn't help but feel a sense of accomplishment tempered by lingering doubts. Had they struck the right balance between substance and presentation? Would their compromise pay off in the eyes of the judges? The day of judgment had arrived at Ridgewood Academy. Emily and Katie stood nervously beside their project display, watching as the judges made their rounds through the bustling exhibit hall. Emily glanced at Katie, her stomach churning with a mix of anticipation and anxiety. "Do you think we covered everything? I hope we didn't miss any crucial details." Katie nodded, though her expression betrayed her nerves. "Yeah, we're good. Just stay calm and remember our talking points." As the judges approached, Emily straightened her posture, ready to present their months of hard work. "Good morning, judges. Welcome to our project on behavioral learning in different environments." One of the judges, a middle-aged man with a clipboard, nodded politely. "Good morning, Emily and Katie. Please walk us through your research." Emily began confidently, outlining their research methodology and findings. "We conducted experiments to assess the effectiveness of learning in various settings, focusing on behavioral responses and cognitive development." Katie interjected smoothly, injecting enthusiasm into her voice. "Our project explores how environmental factors influence learning outcomes, using interactive demonstrations to illustrate our key findings." However, as they proceeded, differences in their approaches became apparent. Emily stuck closely to the data and scientific explanations, while Katie embellished with anecdotes and personal insights. Judge Martinez, a seasoned educator, raised an eyebrow. "Could you elaborate on the statistical significance of your findings?" Emily stepped in, eager to provide a detailed response. "Certainly. Our results indicate a statistically significant improvement in learning retention among subjects exposed to structured environmental stimuli. Katie nodded in agreement but added, "And we observed notable behavioral changes in response to environmental cues, supporting our hypothesis." Judge Martinez glanced between them, sensing a subtle tension. "It seems you both have distinct perspectives on your research. How did you reconcile these differences during your project?" Emily hesitated briefly, choosing her words carefully. "We focused on integrating our strengths, rigorous research methods with engaging presentation techniques." Katie smiled warmly. "Exactly. Our collaboration allowed us to showcase comprehensive research while making it accessible and impactful." The judges nodded thoughtfully, jotting down notes on their evaluation sheets. As they moved on to the next exhibit, Emily exhaled slowly, feeling a mix of relief and apprehension. "That went well," Emily murmured, attempting to break the tension. Katie nodded, though her smile seemed forced. "Yeah, we did okay. I just hope they appreciated our approach." Their differences lingered in the air, unresolved yet momentarily set aside in the pursuit of their common goal: recognition for their hard work and dedication. After the judges had concluded their rounds and the exhibit hall began to quiet down, Emily and Katie found a quiet corner to debrief. Emily leaned against a nearby table, trying to gauge Katie's mood. "How do you think it went?" "I thought we presented our findings well." Katie fidgeted with her notebook, her expression a mix of frustration and uncertainty. "I don't know, Emily. I feel like we could have done better. Maybe we should have emphasized the practical applications more." Emily furrowed her brow, sensing Katie's dissatisfaction. "But we agreed that balancing theory with practical examples was the way to go. It's about showing our research's real-world relevance." Katie sighed, pushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "I know, but what if the judges wanted more innovation or a different angle? Maybe we played it too safe." Their conversation quickly escalated into a debate about their presentation strategy, with Katie advocating for a more dynamic approach while Emily defended their carefully planned execution. "We couldn't afford to risk our credibility by straying too far from the research," Emily argued, her voice tinged with frustration. Katie crossed her arms, her tone edged with defiance. "But if we don't stand out, how are we supposed to win? This is a competition, Emily, not just an academic exercise." Emily sighed, feeling the weight of their differing perspectives. "I get that, Katie, but we have to trust our preparation. We've worked too hard to let doubts derail us now." Katie nodded reluctantly, conceding the point. "You're right. We did put in a lot of effort. I guess I'm just nervous about the outcome." Emily softened, recognizing Katie's dedication despite their disagreements. "I understand. Let's focus on what we can control now. Our presentation was strong, and we showcased our research effectively." As they reassured each other, the tension between them eased, replaced by a shared determination to await the judge's decision with optimism. The tension in the air was palpable as Emily and Katie waited anxiously for the judge's final decision. The auditorium buzzed with excitement, students and teachers alike holding their breaths. When the principal finally took the stage, Emily and Katie exchanged a nervous glance. The moment of truth had arrived. "And now, without further ado, let's announce the winners of this year's science fair," the principal announced, holding the envelope with the results. Emily squeezed Katie's hand gently, trying to offer reassurance. "Whatever happens, we did our best. Our hard work will pay off, Katie." Katie nodded, her expression a mixture of hope and apprehension. "I know, Emily. I just hope the judges saw the value in our research." As the principal began to announce the third-place winner, Emily's heart raced. Each word felt like an eternity until finally, their category was called. In second place, for their outstanding research on behavioral learning in various environments, Emily and Katie. A mix of relief and disappointment washed over Emily and Katie. They exchanged a quick hug before stepping forward to accept their award, smiling graciously despite their mixed emotions. Later that day, in the quiet of their classroom, Emily and Katie sat down to reflect on the results. "We did it, Katie. Second place is still an incredible achievement," Emily said, trying to lift the mood. Katie sighed, her shoulders slumping. "I know, but I can't help but feel like we could have done more. Maybe if we had pushed harder during our presentation." Emily placed a reassuring hand on Katie's arm. "Hey, we presented our research with confidence and clarity. Second place means our efforts were recognized." Katie nodded slowly, her gaze distant. "I guess so. It's just frustrating to come so close and fall short." Their conversation turned into a debate about what they could have done differently, with Emily emphasizing their strengths and Katie lamenting missed opportunities. "I think we underestimated how competitive it would be," Katie admitted, her voice tinged with regret. Emily sighed, understanding Katie's perspective. "Maybe, but we learned valuable lessons from this experience. We'll come back stronger next time." Katie nodded, a small smile tugging at her lips. "You're right, Emily. We've come a long way since we started this project. Second place is something to be proud of." As they reflected on their journey, Emily and Katie grew closer, their shared determination to excel driving them forward. After the awards ceremony, Emily and Katie found themselves surrounded by classmates offering congratulations and teachers sharing feedback on their project. As they made their way back to their classroom, Emily couldn't contain her excitement. "Can you believe it, Katie? Second place. We really did it," Emily exclaimed, her voice filled with pride. Katie forced a smile, but her expression hinted at lingering disappointment. "Yeah, second place is great," she replied, her tone flat. Emily noticed Katie's subdued reaction and furrowed her brow. "Is everything okay, Katie? You seem, I don't know, not as thrilled as I expected." Katie sighed, leaning against the lockers they passed. "I just can't stop thinking about the feedback we got. Did you hear what Mrs. Thompson said about our presentation?" Emily paused, recalling the critique they received about their delivery. She mentioned we could have been more engaging, but overall, she thought our research was solid. Katie shook her head, frustration evident in her voice. "Solid isn't enough, Emily. We had the chance to really impress the judges, and we fell short. If only we had practiced more or added some interactive elements." Emily frowned, sensing Katie's disappointment turning into self-criticism. "Katie, we did our best with the time and resources we had. We couldn't have predicted every detail, but we could have done better," Katie insisted, her hands gesturing animatedly. "We should have anticipated tougher questions or rehearsed our explanations more thoroughly." Emily took a deep breath, trying to diffuse the tension. "Look, Katie, I understand you're upset, but dwelling on what we could have done differently won't change the outcome. We learned valuable lessons today." Katie nodded reluctantly, her shoulders slumping. "I know you're right, Emily. I just hate feeling like we didn't maximize our potential." Emily reached out, placing a comforting hand on Katie's arm. "We'll take this feedback and use it to improve. Our journey isn't over. We have more opportunities ahead to showcase our strengths." Katie managed a small smile, gratitude flickering in her eyes. "Thanks, Emily. I appreciate your optimism. Let's make sure next time we leave no room for doubt." As they walked into their classroom, Emily and Katie began brainstorming ideas for their next project, their determination renewed and their bond strengthened by their shared commitment to continuous improvement. After the science fair, Katie found herself reflecting deeply on her experiences, grappling with insecurities and challenges that had shaped her journey at Ridgewood Academy. Being on the autism spectrum posed unique obstacles that often went unnoticed by others. In her quiet moments, Katie often felt overwhelmed by sensory inputs, loud noises in the cafeteria, the fluorescent lights in the classrooms that triggered anxiety and discomfort. These sensory sensitivities made it difficult for her to focus during classes or socialize with her peers. One afternoon, as she sat alone in the school library, Katie wrestled with her thoughts. She had always struggled to interpret social cues and navigate friendships, often feeling like an outsider among her classmates. The recent tensions with Emily over their science fair project added to her growing sense of isolation. "I just don't understand why I can't seem to connect with others," Katie whispered to herself, her voice tinged with frustration. "It's like I'm speaking a different language, and no one else understands." Her mind wandered back to her childhood, where she had often been misunderstood or labeled as weird by classmates who didn't understand her behavior. Even now, in high school, Katie found herself masking her true feelings and reactions, trying to fit in without revealing her vulnerabilities. "I wish people knew how hard I'm trying," Katie murmured softly, blinking back tears. Every day feels like a battle just to keep up, to appear normal. As Katie closed her eyes, memories of past struggles flooded her mind. The time she had been bullied for not making eye contact, the frustration of sensory overload during exams, the loneliness of eating lunch alone in the corner of the cafeteria. Just then, Emily walked into the library, sensing Katie's distress. She hesitated for a moment before taking a seat next to her friend. "Hey, Katie, are you okay?" Katie looked up, surprised by Emily's concern. "Yeah, I'm fine," she replied, forcing a smile. Emily shook her head gently. "You don't have to pretend with me, Katie. I can see you're struggling. Is there anything I can do?" Tears welled up in Katie's eyes, her facade crumbling. I feel like I'm always on the outside looking in," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I try so hard to fit in, but it never seems to work." Emily reached out, placing a reassuring hand on Katie's shoulder. Katie, you're not alone. We all have our struggles, but yours are valid. You're incredibly smart and talented. You just see the world differently, and that's okay. Katie nodded slowly, feeling a weight lift off her shoulders. Thanks, Emily. It means a lot to hear that. Over the following weeks, Emily and Katie's friendship deepened as they navigated the ups and downs of high school life together. Emily made an effort to understand Katie's needs better, while Katie found comfort in Emily's unwavering support and acceptance. Spending more quality time with your family is essential for strengthening bonds and creating lasting memories. In our fast-paced world, it's all too easy to become disconnected from the people who matter most. Katie's story from Ridgewood Academy reminds us just how important it is to truly connect with our loved ones and understand their unique challenges and strengths. By dedicating special moments to activities together, families can solve common issues such as a lack of communication and feelings of disconnection. Imagine the joy and support Katie felt when Emily took the time to understand her struggles. When families spend quality time together, they create an environment of trust and empathy, where each member feels valued and heard. This practice not only nurtures emotional well-being, but also strengthens the family's ability to face challenges together, fostering a sense of unity and resilience. If Katie and Emily's story resonated with you, it's time to take action and make a change in your own family. Our ebook offers a complete and detailed solution for creating meaningful family moments. It's filled with practical tips, engaging activities, and heartfelt advice to help you reconnect with your loved ones. Don't let another day go by feeling disconnected. Purchase our ebook now and start building stronger, happier family relationships today. We'd love to hear your thoughts, reactions, and ideas about today's story. Did any particular character steal your heart? Were you nervous about a surprising plot twist? Or perhaps you have your own theories about what might happen next. Whatever it is, don't hesitate to share. Remember to keep all comments respectful and constructive. We value diverse opinions and perspectives. Positive vibes only. Let's spread positivity and encouragement in our community. Kind words can make all the difference. Your voices matter, and we can't wait to hear what you have to say. Let's continue this journey together as we celebrate the magic of storytelling. Thank you for being part of our community.